What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crash Course Metal Show. I'm your host, Trevor Crash Knight, and we brought with us again on our weekly visits from Chris Elliot from 86 Bullets. What's up, brother?
Much. How you doing, man?
Good, good. Been busy. So I know, just like everyone else,
Yeah.
I have our own stuff we got to do, but we still are able to listen to music, and that's all that matters. So this week on the All Killer, No Filler episode, we both picked two albums again. This is our third episode, I believe, now. And Chris, I'm going to let you go first again here. And I want you to tell everyone what is your All Killer No Filler album here.
Okay, so for today, I have picked Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil.
Good pick.
You can
Good
see
pick.
that. I know we get a little glare from the camera. Um, I also brought a couple goodies out of the closet just for show and tell. I got the 8-track tape, Columbia Records version
Very
of
cool.
that. And I also have the RCA Record Club version here as well. You can see it.
Oh, nice. I like the red border on that. Pops out.
Yeah. So these are really hard to find. They weren't sold in stores. You could only get them through the record clubs in the 80s.
Right.
So, and that's the history with those. Some of the metal ones from the 80s are quite valuable because they're really hard to find. Again, you couldn't get them in stores after somewhere around January of 83. I think Def Leppard's
Okay.
Pyromania was like one of the last ones on the 8-track format because everyone was buying CDs and cassettes at the time, and 8-tracks were going out of vogue. And then eventually record vinyl went out for a while, and now it's back. So who knows? Maybe
That's
the
true.
8-tracks will be back. I
Maybe. Maybe.
doubt it though, but it's a very quirky format. But anyway, enough of that. That would be a topic for another conversation. But back to this album, Motley Crue, Shot of the Devil. I think this is a fantastic album. It's their second record. It came out in September of 1983,
Hmm.
and it was produced by Tom Werman, who did a lot of the metal bands of the 80s, big
Right.
name producer. This might have been one of his earlier ones that kind of launched his career because, this album just did really well. I don't have the sales figures. I know it was just huge. And I would arguably say that this album may have launched hair metal. 1983, I mean, there were probably bands doing similar in that, but to come
Right.
out and like look at these guys, right? I
Exactly.
mean, they had the look for sure. I remember when I first saw this record, I was like, oh my gosh, look at these guys, look like they're from another planet, they're just so over the top. But they were good, man. They rocked like totally hard. This album, every song to me kicks total butt.
Oh, yeah.
And uh, I'll just go down the track list. You got In the Beginning, which is it's just an intro,
Yeah,
really. So
a nice
um,
intro to set the mood. It really
yeah,
sets
kind
the
of
mood for the
gets you
record.
right with
Yes.
that. I think was it they were going to get Vincent Price to do the vocal or the talking part, or couldn't get him, and he
Yep.
got somebody else or something like that. Of course, then Shout at the Devil comes in, the title track. It's another kick-ass track.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Looks to Kill just rocks. Bastard, another good one. God Bless the Children of the Beast. That's the only Mick Mars contribution on the album,
Okay.
which is just a short instrumental, but it's really nice. It's pretty. It's not long. It's a minute 33, so you don't have a chance to be bored or anything like that. But it's a nice little interlude, honestly. I think Nikki Sixx wrote pretty much everything else on the record.
Hmm.
Vince Neil, I think, has one writing credit with Nikki, and then of course one of these is a Beatles cover. So
Yes.
that's what you
Yep.
get next, Helter Skelter. Um, and they rock that out really, heavy and
Certainly.
sounds
Yeah.
too. Yeah, Red Hot, double bass, Tommy Lee.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was maybe one of the first times that I'd heard double bass. Honestly, I'm not a drummer, but I don't know
Right,
the
right.
history as much to that. But that was when we first heard that. I was like, wow, this really kicks some butt. With those, that going on. That great riff. Too Young to Fall in Love, another
Yeah.
stellar track, right? You got
Oh yeah.
Knock 'em Dead Kid. To me, that might be a notch below, kind of, but it's still pretty kick ass. 10 Seconds to Love comes
Dude,
back super strong.
yeah, that's a
I
beautiful
mean,
song. That's probably one of my favorite Motley Crue songs there is, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, it just rocks. And then last track, Danger, you could say that's a notch below. Maybe, I don't know, but it's a nice little break. It's not a ballad, but it's slower and it's moody. It's got a cool chorus and,
Right. Yeah.
pretty good words and stuff. So I mean, I don't know how you can do too much better than this. I mean, it's not a real technical album.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic as far as the arrangements, everything's four to the floor, but it just rocks, and I think they had an edge to them that you could say some hair metal bands didn't have, and they were had a little more street cred. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of like Guns N' Roses. They had that element to them. So
A little bit. Yeah.
they had to me kicking on all eight cylinders on this record, and you know it was a nice sophomore effort. A lot of
Oh
times
yeah.
bands will their second record won't be quite as good, right?
Exactly.
Because the
Yeah.
first one, what do they say? They spent their whole lives and trying making the
Yeah.
first record, right? They had
Yep.
years to write all this music, and then the second one, they have like 6 months or something.
Yeah. It
And
was certainly a short period of time, So I
yeah, it might have been well, I think it was a little longer for this one because didn't the first Motley
80,
album came out in 81, I think,
and then
right?
I think
So
this was 83 then, correct?
83. So you
Yeah.
had a
Okay. All
little
right.
more time, but
Right.
still, I mean, when they're touring and everything else, and then trying to write a new album,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Oh
So
yeah. And
hats off to Motley Crue,
exactly. No
for this.
sophomore slump here. No sophomore slump.
No, not at all.
So, and I did look up the numbers here. It was, well, first off, I think Vince Neil was only credited for 10 Seconds of Love, actually,
Okay.
lyrically. And looks like here the singles were Shout the Devil, Looks That Kill, and Too Young to Fall in Love, obviously. Shout the Devil was actually the highest ranking one single. That's surprising, actually. Uh
Hmm.
Now I am pulling this off Wikipedia, so I don't, there could be a slight mistake, but yeah, that's actually kind of surprising there. On the U.S. Billboard chart 200, this peaked at 17th, and 4 times platinum in the United States altogether. So certainly very good album. And like I said, 10 Seconds of Love is probably my favorite Motley Crue song there is. And this was an album that I enjoyed in high school as well. Like this was one of the first Motley Crue albums I had, other than maybe New Tattoo. I think I might have had New Tattoo pretty early as well. But certainly Shout Devil was the shit. so so yeah, man, Helter Skelter, like I'm not the biggest Beatles guy, but I certainly like Motley Crue's version of Helter Skelter more than the Beatles version. And I don't know if you had the bonus track CD or like the reissue one from like 2003. It had a couple bonus tracks on it. Uh, I really like the one bonus track. I Will Survive, I believe, is the
Yeah,
one
that
bonus track.
it's on here. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's not a part of the album per se, but I just wanted to throw that in there. It's because even the bonus stuff was good, really, really strong. So yeah, I don't think like we said, I don't think it gets too much better for Motley Crue. Certainly top three in their catalog, I think, no doubt. But yeah, I think that's a good pick there, Chris. Good pick. Can't really argue with it too much. So if you have anything else to say about Shout Devil, I will reveal my pick for this week.
Yeah, that's about all I think I can say. But
All right.
let's hear yours.
All right, man. I know this one here, I did put some of the band back here, other albums
Hmm.
behind me here, just to, you know, show people that I do like those other albums, but I think this album here from Ratt, Detonator, is certainly a all killer album here. I got it on CD and I also got it on cassette as well. But oh man, I don't know. For this, for me, this is where Rack. You could argue it. This might have been their weakest point as a band. Like just the infighting and Robin Crosby not being 100% and such. And I think they do credit him on this album more than I thought they did, because I thought that he didn't do too much on this album, but he does get credit. So that when I was doing a little bit more research on this, that's why I found out, and that's nice. That's nice to see, because I thought Warren did a lot of the stuff, and he still might have, but like I said, that it's a shame what happened to Robin. It sucks because he was one of the best. He's iconic guitar players of that era, but yeah, definitely we can jump into. Well, I'll tell you here a little bit of the album. So it came out 1990. This was the last of the original era Rat albums. You know, it only went gold though, and that's just I don't know if that was just because of the infighting and such. There wasn't much. I don't even know if they did the full tour. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know, because 1994 Rat, it's still you're still in prime years, especially for the scene. And just for Rat to go gold, that's something's off there. And but it did peak at 23 on the US Billboard Top 200. And then you had Loving You's a Dirty Job and Giving Yourself Away as the singles, and they also did Shame 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 as a music video as well. Uh like I said, it went gold, and it does not deserve, well, it deserves to be more than just gold. It's, I think, there might be one song that is certainly a little weaker than the others, and that's the last track, Top Secret. It's the 11th track, so this could have easily been a 10-track masterpiece for me. Now, people do argue that this gets a little more melodic, you can say, I guess, compared to the more early stuff. But even with uh, Reach for the Sky, was certainly moving in that direction with Way Cool Jr. and I Want a Woman. Like, I Want a Woman would fit on this album, and people love I Want a Woman. So I don't get the hate for this album as much. Great guitar work from Warren and Robin as well. And I think Stephen Pearcy sounds really good on this album too. He changed his delivery on some of the songs. Now, Stephen Pearcy does have one type of style, and he does that on like all the catalog basically. But this, I think you get the most, a little, like pretty much the most variety of any album from Stephen vocally here, and I think it's really really strong. Shame, 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 like Loving You's a Dirty Job, very good. And even the intro here, the intro to Shame, 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 that real slow bluesy track, it just sets the tone for Shame, Shame, Shame track. Very, very good. I absolutely love it. And even even the bad, well, what people would consider bad songs, like weak songs, I absolutely love. Like All or Nothing, very, very good. Heads I win, tails you lose. Eh, eh, There's not much bad. I like you said, or like Top Secret's not the strongest, and I would be able to hear someone argue Scratch That Itch as being a little weaker as well. But man, you got One Step Away, very melodic, good tune. Hard Time, in your face lyrics, really good on that song, good solos. All or Nothing, Can't Wait on Love, that could have been a single, honestly. Very catchy. Can't wait on, I can't wait on, I can't wait on love. And then you had the ballad, Giving Yourself Away. And that's well, certainly at the time, that was the first and only ballad Ratt had up until that point. And I think it worked. It's a good song. I still listen to it to this day. I don't skip it. Man, it's a real strong album for me. It was produced by Desmond Child, I believe, correct? If
Yeah, I think he had a hand in it, but he had
Okay.
a lot of songwriting credits.
Right, right. Yeah, so I mean, it was a good, and I even like the album cover as well. The album cover is cool. There are like two different ones here. The one with the finger on the button for the detonator on certain ones, and then on the CD here, it's just like the building and the Ratt logo. But
Hmm.
that's kind of my defense here for my all killer, no filler. And even I want to throw in a little bit here. Ratt has some underrated guitar, or not guitar, album covers. I think, like, obviously, Tony Contain on the first album, and you know, dancing or not dancing undercover is it's just basic, but it's really good. And all these ones here, let me just grab this. Even the EP is really cool. Like I mean, it's just simple, but brings its own personality to it. So, do you have anything to argue or agree with for my killer pick?
Mhm. Mostly agree. I think a couple things to clarify, and I didn't really look into it really deep.
Mhm.
I do believe Warren plays most of the guitar on the album.
Right.
I didn't hear any solos that I thought were Robin Crosby. At least
Yes.
I'm not way familiar with this record. I listened to the whole thing,
Hmm.
because for this segment, I'm
Right.
very familiar with Out of the Cellar. Like I have the EP,
Mhm.
Based in Your Privacy.
Right.
So I kind of got lost in some of the later stuff, but um, I agree. I think it's really strong as far. I mean, some of the ratings of it were kind of low, and I was surprised because like it's a lot better than that.
Oh yeah.
They did bring in a ringer for Desmond Child to
Yeah.
write. I mean, he's like co-writer on pretty much all the tracks. So
Agree.
is that kind of cheating a little bit? I mean, he's known for writing. Well, I Was Made for Loving You with Kiss. He wrote with Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
He's super songwriter. You bring him in when you want to hit the home run or
Yes.
whatever. So,
And I think
uh,
that's where the more melodics, where people say it's more melodic of this album, and it could be definitely because of him as well.
yeah, maybe so. I think so. Yeah, like the catchiness, the big choruses. And I agree with you guys. Steven sounds great on there.
Hmm.
And what's interesting is Warren. Um, he was going in a real bluesy direction, like
Yeah.
almost away from the super shredding. And I noticed that Kirk Hammett did the same thing.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure why they did that exactly. Like I always thought Warren was, he was right up there with George Lynch, like
Yeah.
as far as count. I mean, Out of the Cellars, some of his solos are insane. Like literally, I'm insane.
Yeah.
Like that's an insane solo. I mean, he was just had everything. Just the technique. He had the tone. He had
Yep.
pretty much, and then he kind of went off into this bluesy direction, which was I guess kind of cool, but I'm like, well, why don't you'd still like super shred like you were used to do. And I never really got that. I don't know if it was like Stevie Ray Vaughan was influencing a lot of these guys, the big blues revival. I think it
Right.
probably had something to do with
Yeah.
that. So
Yep.
anyway, but that's more of a geeking out guitar type of thing. I mean, if you're a casual listener, you're not going to care. I'd say the solos sound really good.
Oh
So he did
yeah.
a good job with them. I'm just commenting. It was just different that he was more laid back, a little bluesier, a little less shred.
Hmm.
Um, but that was sort of where he was going. I think he started out like Way Cool Jr. and he was going in that direction
Right.
from maybe it was right after Invasion Your Privacy into was it Reach for the Sky or something was next?
Dancing Undercover. Then it was Reach
Yeah,
for the Sky.
Undercover,
Yep. Yep.
right. Yeah. So yeah, I know the production's good. I think
Hmm.
the album is pretty strong. It's good. It's probably a little more polished than I would like out of the cellar personally a little better just because it's more raw.
Right. Right.
That's my
Certainly.
taste.
Yeah, this is, I would certainly say, the most well produced of the original era Rat. No doubt about that. And I think that's also why people might not care for it too much as well, saying it's more melodic and stuff. But at the same time, because I was always under the impression ever since I had this album past 20 years that Robin didn't play much of it. But then when I was doing research and stuff, I was seeing some like credits to him and stuff like that. And I was getting a little confused. So if anyone could really like clear that up for us, that would be great in the comments. But yeah, and I think that could also be why that Detonator just sounds different if Robin Crosby was only on a couple riffs and not as a main staple, a part of the band. So yeah, I mean, it just does not get deserve the hate. This is more of my, I guess you could say, underrated segment, all killer, no filler pick, but it definitely does not deserve hate at all of the original era stuff or any of the stuff, to be honest with you. But yeah, so definitely
Mhm.
one of my favorite Rats here, and certainly deserving to be on this episode. So
Yeah, good
I
pick.
guess, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say right now for Detonator. I think I cleared the air for my defense, and but yeah, you had a good pick there too. That was a quality pick. I don't think many people can argue that from Shout the Devil from Motley Crue. So, all right, guys, let us know in the comments which of the two albums do you prefer, and then also tell me where I'm wrong with Detonator. Tell Chris where he's wrong with Shout the Devil. I don't know. Do you like Theater of Pain better? Let me know. I mean, that's an underrated. I guess, guys, until next time, that's Chris from 86 Bullets. Thank you again for coming on, brother. And I am Trevor Crash Knight, and we will see you guys later.